up, good follow? This is Roz coming to you live from Tampa. The women's tournament just wrapped up. UConn was crowned champion. And right now it is a glorious day in Tampa. I'm sitting by the water right now and, the sun is starting to set and I'm about to sit down with a great guest. She is a WNBA host and analyst for ESPN. She is the founder of Rising Media Stars Mentorship Group. She's my big sis. She's my friend. It's LaChina Robinson. We're going to sit down and enjoy just some food, catch up, and talk some hoops. LaChina is here. Hey, sis.
Hey, Roz.
Thank you for pulling up and joining me here.
Anything for you. It's so good to see you.
It's great to see you. You look fabulous.
Thank you. You too. Always suited and booted. So nice.
It's nice that we have a moment to relax now that the college season is over. And I mean, how amazing has Tampa been? It's been such beautiful wet weather.
It's one of my favorites. I don't want to age myself, but this is my 23rd straight Final Four.
What?
Yes.
That's a congratulations.
I don't know.
Wait.
It means I'm old.
Because Geno Auriemma is in his, straight, because he had his 24th Final Four.
Yes.
But you didn't see 23 of those, or was it straight? You've seen a whole lot of Geno.
I've seen 23 straight. Yeah, I have, actually. That means I've seen Tampa a number of times as a Final Four venue or site. And I actually was reminiscing with Candace Parker in the lobby of the hotel where Tennessee won in 2008.
Yeah.
Over Stanford.
I was there.
That was the Candace Wiggins era.
Yes. I remember the game, the championship game. It was my freshman year.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I was at the Tampa Final Four here, and it was good for Candace Parker to get that championship.
Oh, man. And I was asking her, I was like, do you remember? Because she said, I don't remember anything about the city, but I remember everything about the game itself. And I was like, really? She said, no, I don't remember a hotel we stayed at, anything. Like, nothing feels familiar to me. But I said, so you remember everything in the Stanford game? She was like, more so the LSU game, because the Stanford game wasn't that close. I was like, oh, y'all in control the whole time?
Candace always has jokes. I'm going to have to get her for that one. But you want to see the difference? You want to see the difference of maybe like the type of player we were?
Right.
I actually don't remember anything about the game against Tennessee. But what I do remember is all the stuff around it.
See, you were opposite.
I was opposite. Candace was focused on the games, and I remember the Tampa Final Four. All the teams came in on yachts. They had us all come in on boats. And then each team I think had a boat, and we came off the water in the boats after sailing, and we came off a red carpet and then went in to party.
Yes. They used to do that. I don't know if they still do the dinner.
They don't.
Where they bring all the four teams together and have a night, have a dinner. That was fire. Because I was on the red carpet for a few of those.
Oh, really?
And, yes. And that was a nice time.
We both came from the court. And when UConn was given their trophy, they brought all of their alum on.
Yes,
and all of their former champions. And it was kind of cool to see the level of greatness. We're talking about Hall of Famers, Olympians.
Yes.
But also people, across generations, people that you went through or they went through you. And one of the coolest things happened to me, Maya Moore walks by and she's like, Roz. And I'm like, Maya. And I was like, dang, one of those championships you got went through us. And she was like, you also stopped us from one.
Uh-oh.
And so I was like, these competitors, they don't forget anything.
Nothing.
They don't forget anything. I also got a picture with Diana Taurasi.
Did you?
Yes. So I did. We've interviewed everybody. Mm-hmm. Diana's the only player, men's or women's, that makes me a little nervous. Oh, Kobe Bryant too.
Yeah.
And I'm always a little bit goofy.
You know what? No, Diana's so different off the court than she is on. I know. Yeah. I mean, I've interviewed her a few times and I'm always just blown away by how nice she is. She's like, thanks, LaChina, I appreciate you. And I'm like, is this the same monster that shows up on the court and is like, acting a fool? But yeah, she's actually really sweet off the court.
So, I mean, hey, we have a new champion. The NCAA season is crowned and UConn wins the championship, the 12th overall, for the program. What do you make of the championship game? What did you think?
Man, well, I honestly wish it was more competitive.
Yeah.
The fact that it was a 30-point game at the end, I just did not necessarily see that coming. But I did feel like UConn was playing very well coming in. So I'm not surprised at all that they won, even though I'm always going to stay true to my bracket. I did pick South Carolina to win. But What I was thinking, you mentioned all the UConn alum, and I ran into Asia Jones and Tamika Raymond Williams, Jetter. Don't kill me, Tamika Williams. And I was just thinking about like how dominant they were and the level of excellence they played with on the court. And I think Tamika Williams shot like 70% from this. Like they never missed a layup. Swing Cash is not here, but obviously she was on that team, Sue Bird. And I haven't seen that version of Connecticut, not even the 2016 Stewie last championship, like their last championship. I haven't seen that level of excellence from Connecticut since then. And there have been a lot of questions, including myself. Could they get back there, right? Like everyone's like, oh, Geno's been doing this a long time. You know, I don't know. Connecticut's regime may have gone, even though they were still getting to the Final Fours, the championship is still the standard. But the way this team played reminded me of a lot of those old teams where they were winning 3 in a row and, you know, just winning championships every other year from the early 2000s, really through 2010 or 2016 when Stewie was done. But yeah, so it was very interesting. Yeah. And to see that level of excellence with the UConn Huskies team again.
Yeah. There was a lot of dominance. And I too feel like it was reminiscent of the way those other teams in the past was dominant. Yeah. I'll point out though, like, this UConn team has been right here, though.
Yeah,
like, they've been right there.
Final Fours, yeah.
And you know, clearly 24 Final Fours, and this is their back-to-back one. But last season's team, they, you know, Geno had that squad with like a handful of healthy players scrap their way to the Final Four. I think health has played a big part in like their lack of a championship as of late. And what I saw in this team, for me, they're healthy. For me, with UConn, it's always a fitness issue. It's a condition. Like they wear on you.
Yeah.
Like against UCLA in the first game of the Final Four, I felt like UCLA looked a little fatigued. You know? And UConn just kept coming at them. And then even here, they just kept coming in waves. The high level of execution on offense, all the back cuts against the pressure, all the back doors. And on defense, I thought they were good too.
Yeah, I mean, the precision timing on the cuts, the screens. I thought the screening action in particular was tough for South Carolina early, like whether they were going to switch or try to chase. Like they were very good with the timing of their screens so that they got a lot of mismatches and were able to take advantage of that. But yeah, their defense was really good too. And in the first half in particular, I thought where their defense stood out to me was in the paint. South Carolina had some opportunities right around the rim that I thought could have helped them momentum-wise in the first half, and they were missing shots with 2 feet in the paint. And you got to give a lot of credit to Sarah Strong because I often have to recheck her height. I think she's 6'2".
Yeah.
And she was battling it out. While Dawn has a full rotation of posts she can put in the game who are obviously tough, scrappy, can get on the glass. Joyce Edwards included coming off of the bench, Sanaya Fagan starting, Chloe, but she was contesting a lot of shots in the paint and taking away those easy buckets for South Carolina in the first half, I thought was key. So to your point, UConn's defense was also just very effective.
Okay, I want to hear your thoughts on this because UConn had an incredible game from Azzi Fudd, who was great in Tampa. And I also think Paige, while she didn't shoot great, was highly impactful. Sarah, between the points, I think 24 points, I think 15 rebounds, between the blocks and the defense. She anchored everything that thwarted South Carolina. I think there were a number of candidates, but for me, Sarah Strong was the most outstanding player for me of the Final Four.
Someone else said that to me because the game ended and...
Don't forget she had 22 points in the game before. I think she had a high-scoring game in the game before.
Yeah, and as did Azzi. Yes. And when the game ended, someone who I was sitting with was like, oh, Sarah Strong's the most outstanding player. And I was like, really? I thought it was Azzi Fudd. Really? And I think it could have gone either way.
Either way.
First of all, a freshman performing at such a high level... I mean, the poise, the toughness, I am blown away by her.
Yeah.
Period, point blank. But what I think it was with Azzi, and Roz, you've had injuries as a player, so you get this part of it. She started to trust her body on defense. And we can look at points all day long, which she's a sharpshooter. She can score. You know, she's starting to get that timing in with her shot. But she was taking risks on defense. She was lunging. She was in the passing lanes. You know, she was picking players like, she was trusting her body to really move in a way on defense that gave that team a lot of momentum. And those were the things that maybe most people saw. I know I saw in in voting her, the most outstanding player. But honestly, I thought it could have gone either way.
What a luxury for UConn, right?
I know.
All these players stepped up so big. And it's funny because, I interviewed post-game Sarah Strong, and she barely smiled. Like, she's just got
she's locked in.
She's locked in.
Yeah.
Did she take after Allison a little bit? Like, Feaster, her mom?
Does.
Her mom is a little bit on, like, a little more serious. When you know her, you keep it with her.
But on the surface, she gonna give you the straight.
Right. And I see her mother in her, like, stoicness. I wonder if she's, like, silly on the side or something.
Yeah, like behind the scenes.
But, so that was something that stood out to me.
Shout out to Allison, who's was one of my childhood heroes.
Yes.
Like I wanted to go to Harvard because of her. And the fact that like we text now during games and stuff, like I'm like, I can't even believe that I get to correspond with Allison Feaster. Like y'all need to get on Google if you don't know who this woman is. Like
the historic
it's
16 seed beating a 1 seed. In the tournament, Harvard beat Stanford. Why is Stanford
Sorry,
bad?
This is a bad episode for Stanford.
Episode for Stanford. Hey, we got a lot of greatness coming through Stanford too. But and then to another point you had, I interviewed Geno post game, and after the championship, and I asked him what this 12th championship meant, and the fact that it took 9 years to get there, what it meant to the program and to the team and to him. Mm-hmm. And he basically alluded to he heard all that talk.
Oh,
Geno's strong, like, he believes in the program and the work he's put in.
Yeah.
And so he heard that and he said, look, if we want parity in the game, we can't be upset when it's hard to get here. And so that was not only was it that he heard it was respect for the parity.
And that's a great point, Roz, because I do agree with you that it's been injuries that have been in the way of UConn somewhat, but it's also that everyone else in the country has gotten better, right? Okay. Like there's more parity, there are more teams competing. Mm-hmm. UConn wasn't just getting every All-American out of high school like they used to at some point. And so I think you do have to consider that.
But I actually think that's a great point because as we do all this legacy talk, how many championships does this player have? And Paige Bueckers is now going to have 1. Where does she stand with the greats of UConn who have 4 or 3 or 2? I think it's hard to have that conversation because I remember playing in the years of 2010 where our first challenge wasn't until the Final Four, where teams were going undefeated through the season and winning by 30. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can you it's just everything, both are excellent, but there's so much more parity now that to get that 1 chip is so much harder, I think.
I agree. And the game has grown even in terms of the styles of play we see, right? And this is nothing against the teams of old because we wouldn't be here without the foundation that the teams have had success way back to the AIAW days and the La Tech days and the Western Kentucky, like all those teams that you don't hear much about that have been a part of the growth of college women's basketball over time. But yes, Dallas, the game just seems like there's closer contests, there's more parity, there's more talent going to different places. There's, to me, more variety and style of play. We've got YouTube and technology that's grown in terms of how these players are training and how they're preparing their bodies and minds for college. Yeah. And so you love to see it. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. It makes it much harder now to have that kind of dominance. Tennessee, obviously, that goes without saying.
So how do we reflect on the full body of work now for our girl, Paige Bueckers, who has her storybook, ending with the championship after all the injuries? Not only injuries, she went through a pandemic, like her team was injured, and to come through with her resilience and heart.
There's just not enough positive words to say about Paige as a player or as a person. We have just watched her blossom, her game on the court, through the resilience of the injuries, through the perseverance. We've watched her become a spokeswoman and a face of the game of college women's basketball. But I think what I learned in this year particular, really this stretch of games in the NCAA tournament and in the postseason, is that Paige has the ability to rise to the occasion. There were questions about whether or not she was WNBA ready because she doesn't shoot enough and she's a pass first and does she take over enough? Like all those conversations that we have about great players. And I don't know that people were giving her the grace which she was working back from with injury, but she showed us that she can shoot that thing. Like she can score the ball and under duress, in crunch times, in big games. So I just love that she took center stage, and the story couldn't have ended more perfectly for her journey with all that she's been through than to have a national championship.
Yeah. And I'm going to remember her not only as a great player, but the more I found out about Paige, the more I understand how wonderful of a human being and a teammate she is.
Yes.
And also her heart and resilience beyond the points and the buckets. Like, that's what stands out to me about Paige Bueckers. And, you know, it's a nice transition too, because that's what stands out to me about you, LaChina. Like,
me and Paige have nothing in common. I can't shoot. Okay. So I don't know where Ross is going right now.
No. I'm talking about the quality of character, of heart, of being a great teammate, of helping bring others along. And I mean, you even being here is a symbol of like your love for me. You're my big sis, but everybody's big sis. And we all can sit and rave about you. You're also my friend.
Yes.
And you know, I want to just highlight the incredible work you're doing with Rising Media Stars. The mentorship organization that you founded that now has literally put stars in seats on the biggest networks. It's for, you know, young journalists who want to become broadcasters. Why was it important for you to have a life of mentorship and have this be your passion?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I appreciate all those kind words. But, you know, I said I've been to 23 straight Final Fours. And what I can say is the journey was lonely in those early years because I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me in the room. Even Geno Auriemma commented in his presser, and he was like, I don't know that I've ever seen this many women in the room at a Final Four. And he's obviously been at a lot of them. And so it really came from a passion for wanting more diversity in the coverage of women's basketball. But also, I know how amazing it has felt to live my dream of covering the sport. And I want to help more people reach their dreams. And it's kind of the way I've always been wired. I am a natural encourager.
Yes, you are.
I just am really always pretty much optimistic and like to help people when they need help. And so, you know, starting this program, which is a nonprofit, we just wanted to really target our attention in a small group of women that we can help to elevate and transition into sport broadcasting because it can be lonely, right? And no one gives you the playbook. And all of our paths are different in terms of how we got here. But if I could even just do a little bit to add to the diversity of the coverage of women's basketball so that the media looks more like the players on the court, right? That's what we want to see over time. And that's what I wanted to do. So it's really been an honor for me and a blessing to be a part of the journey of all of the women you named and so much more.
Yes.
And yeah, just trying to pay it forward.
Yeah. And I mean, you've connected me with a number of broadcasters and, you know, hey, I need you to meet this young lady who's with the Bucks and Zora Stevenson. Like she's doing the Olympics now.
Yes.
You know, and there's been a few of those. But for me, you've been a sis, a mentor, a friend for me. And, you know, I guess I'll kind of get you out on this one. You know, I come to you, I have so few people to actually talk about when things are down. I have so many people in my life and my family that are depending on me. And it's hard to share openly without worrying them. So when I've ever had an insecurity or a disappointment, oftentimes you've been there for the conversation. And part of being a broadcaster is it's almost like ball. Like there's rosters, you can get cut, you're fighting for playing time. This business is hard. Like, how do you keep your sanity in a business where there's, even as high as you get, there's so much that's still not guaranteed?
100. No, Raj, you're right. This business is very subjective. And you and I both, probably me more than you, have heard so many no's, and I've heard a lot of reasons why I don't fit in this world, right? I'm always reminded of all the things I'm not, and very rarely was I ever praised for what I was. And so I think it really comes from an inner resilience for sure. For me, it's also my faith in God and knowing that no decision that anyone could ever make is going to take me off of my destiny. If a door closes, it was meant to close, right? If a door opens, it was meant to open. Like, you know, people to me are just kind of the conduits of whatever it is that God really wants to do in my life. And so when you take that personal out of it, you realize that your journey is already predestined. And all you can control is your work ethic. You can work harder than everyone. You can be knowledgeable. And for you and I, when we step into that seat, especially as Black women, we know we have to be excellent to open the door for the next Black woman coming after us or the next woman coming after us. So I carry that burden, if you will, with great pride, as do you have, of showing up and being great. And I take on the challenge. And because we love women's basketball so much, it's easy. Like, this is a dream. This is literally a dream for me. I've always wanted to do this, you know, like to cover women's basketball at the highest levels. And I have at this point. So I am very happy with my career and glad that I can help others find their dream and to, you know, ascend to the places that they dream of being in this business.
I think you walk the walk and you talk the talk. I thank you for how you show up. And I just appreciate you so much. Yes. You're an example I give often, that you can be successful in this business, be talented, but you can be a great person, and that will take you far. So LaChina, thank you so much for joining
you. And I will always be here for you.
I know,
always.
I believe you.
I'm
here for you
I'm
too.
A phone call away.
I'm here for you too.
This is my girl, like my real sister.
I know. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.